Yo, what is going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to round 1 of my local's most recent mega tournament. And by mega tournament, I mean this is not going to be the standard 4-round tournament that you guys are used to seeing. There was actually 5 rounds of Swiss, and then cut to top 8. I have all 5 rounds of Swiss and top 8 and top 4. I unfortunately was not able to film the finals, I know. Kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. I do have the first place deck profile for you guys though, because I'm sure some people will want to see that. But yeah, we're going to be having a lot more feature matches than we typically do this week. That's all I wanted to sort of bring up by mentioning that. So we have Adventurer, well, not Adventurer, Phantom Knight Tearlament on the left versus Kashtira Runick. If that makes sense. I mean, it's more so Runick with Fenrir and Psychic Rover than it is actually, you know, Kashtira Runick, I guess. But yeah, so I also want to preface this too by saying, as we see this Merly attempt to resolve, our Runick player discarded a card called Psychic Rover, which when it hits the grave, it has an effect where it allows you to roll a dice. Let me pull up the specific text. Yeah, so if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can roll a 6-sided die, and if you do roll a 2, 3, 4, or 5, special summon this card. So yeah, it has that effect. Our Runick player is going to, for the rest of the match, improperly use the card's graveyard effect, as he never rolls. He brought it up to me afterwards. Things happen. I know someone's going to have a nuclear meltdown in the comment section about it, but it is what it is, right? I am by no means promoting people to improperly use their cards. I've done something similar in the past where I'm, you know, playing with new cards and I'm not 100% sure how they work. I get it, but, you know, things happen. So either way, getting back to the match here, we're going to see our Runick player end on the Hugin copy of Fenrir with the Psychic Rover on board and the Runick Fountain established. And now we're going to see our Phantom Knight player here lead with a Fog Blade into the Stain Greaves, normal summon Ragged Gloves, overlay into Break Sword. Now, during the previous turn, we did see the Kashtira Fenrir take out the Garura. Monster effect was activated, new chain, able to banish a card, face-up card the opponent controls, getting Garura out of the equation. Kind of strong. Garura tends to be a very, very important, like, combo piece. It is a level 6 in some builds, allowing them to get access to Baron with Cartesia, overlaying for Beatrice, and other, you know, rank 6s. There was a new one that came out in Darkwing Blast. So, pretty good bridge to have in the extra deck. So, it being banished is kind of clutch. So, we do see the Break Sword attempt to pop something, but of course, Huggins does have that built-in protection effect where it can just banish itself. I believe if any face-up card they control would be destroyed, or any Runick card. So Huggins will protect itself, but the Break Sword graveyard effect will activate, bringing back the 2 bodies as level 4s. He'll overlay for Redoer. Gloves will activate its effect when used as material to give the Redoer an additional 1,000. I believe that was an activated effect. That's what they said while they were playing. It does have a semicolon, so I would have to agree there will a colon. That is an activated effect, and we'll see the Fenrir activate a new chain attempt to banish the Redoer, and Redoer does what it does best, and it tags out in response, allowing our Phantom Knight player to continue playing here. We'll see him use the Stain Greaves in the graveyard to bring out a Torn Scales alongside another Torn Scales, I believe, which was brought out from the graveyard. And then we're going to see him go for the Cherubini. On summon of Cherubini, though, we will see Flashing Fire come down. I believe that's Flashing Fire or Runick Destruction, one of the two. It's going to pop the Cherubini, though, and he's going to banish Draco back, Griffin Rider, and Enchantress. Really bittersweet to see that Enchantress get banished there. Fountain resolving to go ahead and draw 3. And we're going to see him set 2 end phase, remembering the Time Thief Redoer to come back, which is very clutch. And we're going to see Redoer activate in the standby phase, taking a Smiting Storm off the top of the deck. New Chain Fenrir will attempt to activate to banish, being kind of a reoccurring problem here as it sticks onto the board. And we're going to see a Fog Blade get used in response. Now, the Psychic Rover does have a continuous-like effect while being on the field. It says, the player who summoned it cannot special summon from the extra deck while it is face up in the monster zone. So he cannot summon from the extra deck right now. So no Runick plays from the extra deck. So we're just going to see him set a monster and pass. And we're going to see him take another card off the top. Lo and behold, it's another spell. So free draws for days here. We're going to see Cloak activate. Going to go ahead and search out Boots. And then we're going to see the Torn Scales, new chain, summon itself back from the graveyard. Special summon Boots from hand. Getting their engine back online here. And we will see him now use the effect of Redoer, detaching the Smiting Storm. We'll go ahead and draw. Draws into a Shiren. I believe Havnus still in hand here for our PK tier player. The Shiren will hit a Merly, Instant Fusion, and Super Poly. And in response to the Merly or the Havnus here, whichever one he's using, we're going to see him activate Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. Hand trap gaining a lot of popularity right now for this specific reason against this specific deck. Hitting Kit Kalos not only turns off a crucial extender and a searcher that card is, but it also will cut you off access from Tearlaments or Kalos, which is important because that card does specifically require Tearlaments Kit Kalos. But however, I believe you're playing, I don't know if playing something like King of the Swamp can act as substitute, since it does have a specific name required to be able to make Rokalos. So now that the Cherries has successfully resolved here, I believe there is nothing that he can actually fusion for, so we're going to see the names fizzle here. We'll see him go into a Dark. Dark's going to steal that Cherries right out of the graveyard, and we're going to see a Nibiru in response. So yeah, Nibiru coming down to wipe the field. Yeah, I was like, why is the Nibiru going to the graveyard? A little bit of an accident there. They happen. That Torn Scales, I think maybe should have been banished. I could be wrong. We're going to see Psychic Rover come out. And yes, he should have rolled a dice to see whether it comes out of the graveyard or not. But he does remember to roll on summon to activate the effect, rolling a 1 there, so it will pop up to 2. And we're going to see our Phantom Knight player just pass turn there after being completely shut down by the Primal Being. And then we're going to see him Tribute Summon for Kashtira Fenrir by getting over 2 Psychic Rovers. Again, there should have been 2 additional dice rolls there. But just get used to it, folks. Just get used to him not rolling for the graveyard effect for this match. And that's the last I'll say on it. So we're just going to see him go into the battle phase there, swinging with Fenrir, swinging with the Nibiru. He will decide to take all of the damage instead of trying to block with the Fog Blade, and probably doing so he can, at least save a couple bodies on field. He does use the Fog Blade to bring out the Boots. That does trigger Torn Scales, new chain Fenrir, banish the Torn Scales. And we're going to see him top deck Foolish Burial. Very strong card to see here. Now, we did see him lose some key cards of the Adventurer Engine earlier to one of the Runick Quick Play spells. I think it was Flashing Fire. Although I want to say it's Destruction. I think Flashing Fire pops back row. But yeah. So the Adventurer Engine is kind of cut off here. Fenrir clearing Cherubini. Fenrir putting in a lot of work just constantly. Anytime you activate a monster effect, once per turn, you're going to lose something to it. And it looks like it is going to be too much there as we head into game 2. Runick Kashtira taking the game there, rather. And a quick shout out to Imperium Duelist. They just came out with a brand new binder, guys. You got to check this binder. I hope it's still on sale, because if you guys haven't gotten it, you're going to want to get it. New dice as well. Check them out at the link below. Don't forget to use my discount code WinterKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order and support the channel. And if you guys are buying anything on TCG Player, please do not forget to use my affiliate link found in the description of all my videos. And you help support the channel there as well. Same thing by using my Coldest Water link also. So we're going to see Shiren come down, and looks like in response to an effective fusion in the graveyard, we see another Cherries banishing Kit Kalos right off rip. So he is forced to go for Garura right now. And we're just going to see him do some Phantom Knight plays here, getting into Cherubini. I believe that was Torn Scales and Boots into Cherubini. And we're going to see Nibiru here. He will get Garura effect, and he will also get Shiren effect. If he plays Dragos Tapalier, he could go for it here. Draws into what looks to be a Nessie, not using a Shiren there, unless he use the Shiren graveyard effect. But I feel like Dragos Tapalier has got to be somewhere in the extra deck, and I feel like you definitely want to go for that. If you know, it's got to be better than nothing, as we see the Nessie get sniped, grabbing Jackalope, rolling the dice here, decide which card gets hit, and Jackalope gets sniped. American Sniper, that's 2 for 2. See Jackalope effect activate here. In the graveyard, to go ahead and summon out a Sneck, level 3. Danger Tsuchinoko. But being level 3 kind of loses a little value here since the Cherubini has been exhausted. But he still does have a play. We can see the Dark Charmer Gloomy. Go ahead and yoink that Cherries out of the graveyard. Activate Boots in the grave. Go ahead and search out a copy of Shade Brigandine. No traps in the graveyard. We'll see the Torn Scales bring itself out. And spec out the Shade Brigandine. Go for Curious. Using that Cherries as link material, being a zombie. Helping get into Curious. Getting the Tearlament engine rolling here. Dubbing a copy of Rhino Heart to the graveyard. And for getting, well, okay, I was going to say, I was hoping not for getting the mill there, but it's been Chainlink 1 Curious to mill, Chainlink 2 Rhino Heart. So we'll see Rhino Heart come out. And then the mill 3. Some pretty decent mills there. Also being able to dump a Merly to the graveyard off of the Rhino Heart. Going for a copy of Kaleido Heart now. Being the only real fusion that he can go for. He'll just use the effect of Kaleido Heart to get rid of the Nibiru. Which is kind of unfortunate because now this makes any Fenrir's in hand or any top deck Fenrir's really, really strong. It's the one kind of bad thing about clearing the Nibiru. I mean, leaving the Nibiru on field I feel like really isn't a problem. Especially if it means opening up the board to Fenrir. So we'll just see him pass on Kaleido Heart, Curious, and a Torn Scales, which is going to be hit with Lava Golem. And that's unfortunate. Including some cards for free. We'll see him activate Smiting Storm now to go ahead and special summon from the extra deck. See him activate Huggins effect, discarding into the Runick spell. Go ahead and search out the Fountain. Activate Fountain, and then activate Runick Tip. We'll see a nice little draw 3 here. I'm going to go ahead and search out Destruction. And then we'll see the field spell activate on a new chain if the opponent banishes one at the top. Getting rid of those enchantresses, just left, right, and center. No enchantress effect. You're drawing into 3 cards there. One of those looking to be like another Cherries. A lot of very high impact defensive cards here for a deck that really doesn't do a whole lot. Has Nibiru in hand, has Cherries. Pretty much set for whatever the opponent might try and do this turn. Standby phase, Lava Golem will burn for 1,000, but he does top deck Rite of Aramesir. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Definitely kind of invalidate some of those hand traps there. At least one of them the Griffin can trade with. Now it looks like we're going to see Gloves activate. Not sending Seer. You can't do that. But we'll see him go ahead and send a copy of Boots. Interesting to see how quickly he'll get the Adventure Engine going. And the Gloves will actually trigger Curious to go ahead and mill 3. Does end up finding a tier name. Putting back... that cannot use the... yeah, I was going to say, can't use the Kaleido Heart as fusion material, but you can use the Garura. Putting that back, and the Shiren. There's the Dragostapelia. So, establishing some kind of board here. It could use the effect of Fateful here, which it looks like he will, to go ahead and grab the Draco back, and then effect of Fateful. To go ahead and search a monster. And looks like we might have a response here in response to Fateful Adventure. Because he knows that if this continues to resolve, he will get access to Griffin Rider, which can trade very, very well with the hand traps that he has. So it looks like we're just going to see him activate. I think this is Runick Dispelling. Which basically lets the opponent, well, lets you just kind of rip a card out of your opponent's hand. Which is very unfortunate. And it's very good, especially when there's only one card in the opponent's hand. So that's going to basically allow him to not be able to search for Griffin Rider there, while banishing a few cards off the top of his deck, one of them being Graph. That's kind of clutch. Now, of course, the graveyard effect of Dracoback will activate here. Fine, he gets access to the Dracoback, but at least he doesn't have a card to discard. And we're going to see a Cherries Fire here, getting rid of access code. That's kind of funny. And now we're going to see, I think, Runick Destruction activate. It's going to clear the Adventurer token. And then we're going to see the Field Spell activate to go ahead and draw 2. I think it was there. So with access code gone, as well as Kit Kalos, extra deck getting a lot thinner right now. A lot less plays available. We're going to see him activate Boots, bring out the Torn Scales and a new chain. And we're going to see him discard a copy of Cloak for Torn Scales. Then Cloak effect, go ahead and search Boots, special summon Boots. And looking to try to assemble lethal here. But walking further and further into what will certainly be another huge Nibiru right now. We're going to see him activate Breaksword. Huggins will protect. Breaksword Graveyard effect, which will Dark Lock him, of course. And the 2 names will come back. We're going to see him overlay into Raiders Knight effect. And in response, we're going to see him activate Nibiru. And that would have been definitely an OTK there. But Nibiru coming down yet again to save the day. Now we're going to see him activate Curious Effect. So we'll basically get back any card in the graveyard. Be a very good time to recycle something like Kaleidoheart, because you're not getting it back any other way. That's for sure, since it cannot be used as fusion material. But he's going to add a Droll and Lockbird back to the hand. Kind of rough to add something like that back, especially when you've got no engine rolling. I feel like you can play around the Droll pretty easily here. Especially since, like, all he needs to do is just kind of load up the graveyard with some spells and then just resolve the field spell on their turn. And sure, you can draw after that, but that's fine. They've gotten, you know, their draw 2-3 already out of the way. We're just going to see him turn the Nibiru defense, though. End phase. Fogblade going to bring out Boots, and Torn Scales will bring itself out. We're going to see him activate the Fateful Adventure now. Fateful Adventure is going to go ahead and grab a monster, discarding the Enchantress. And we're going to see him activate a Runick spell on Resolution to go ahead and bring out, I think that's Fangs. Gotta pull this card up. So he says, yeah, Gary the Runick Fangs. Gary. Now we're going to see him go for activating Enchantress to go ahead and grab Right. Right goes to go ahead and bring out the token. We know that Griffin Rider and, you know, I think we saw a Legal Knight there as well, still being in the deck. We're going to see him activate Griffin Rider. And in response to Griffin Rider's effect to summon the 3rd Cherries, banishing a Unicorn from the opponent's extra deck. Some very good generic picks in our Runick players' extra deck, since it obviously doesn't really matter outside of the Runick cards. Making it very hard to break the board here and try to open up the field rather and go for a game. So we're going to see him attack Gary with the Griffin Rider. Gary says it cannot be destroyed by card effects. If this card is special from the extra deck, you can target one non-quick play Runick spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand. When this card is destroyed by battle, you can target one card in the field, destroy it. So that will trade with the Griffin there. Then we're going to see him activate another Runick spell to bring out another Gary, and this is, of course, not once per turn. So these Runick spells are just acting as roadblocks here, kind of shutting off the OTK, clearing bodies. And the only thing he's able to swing in with at the end of the day there is just a copy of Torn Scales and Boots. Battle phase, he'll still use the effect here of Fogblade to go ahead and bring out Raiders Knight. And swing in for a little bit extra damage there. And pass turn. I think that Droll and Lockbird obviously still might be in hand here. I don't know how handy it's going to be. The graveyard is loaded with some decent fodder. We're going to see him activate another Runick spell, though, however, making him banish more off the top. I believe that was the Runick Destruction. banishing the top 4, then drawing 3, and just passing turn there on an open field. I also didn't fire the Droll and Lockbird on the resolution of that, which I guess is fair enough. We're just going to see our Tearlament player, though, start his turn by normal summoning the Tearlament's Havness, and then just go straight to battle phase. Try to force those cards out of the hand. He's only at 5,200, and definitely has a game on board here. So we're going to go and activate a copy of Golden Droplet. This is going to bring out Frecky, the Runick Fangs, which is a Runick monster that I have not seen yet. When an attack is declared involving this card in the extra monster zone, you can banish the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. Neither player takes any battle damage from attacks involving this card. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 Runick placed on your graveyard, add it to your hand. So you're able to recycle some cards there, and blocking some damage in the meantime. Just activating again. Another Runick spell. Runick Destruction this time around to bring out Huggins. Huggins effect, discarding another Golden Droplet. It looks like it's going to be Chainlink 2 Fountain. Go ahead and draw 2. And then adding another copy of Fountain. Battle phase, swinging in with the remainder of the monsters there that haven't attacked yet. Not able to do a whole lot of damage there. And a Runick player doing a very good job at stalling. Draw for turn. There's a Fenrir. Helping to apply some pressure. Fenrir. Go ahead and search out Fenrir. I seriously don't know why they allowed Fenrir to go ahead and search itself. It's very questionable. We're just going to see him set 2 and pass. We're going to see our PK player start by normal summoning Seer. Seer effect. Targeting Cherubini. Chain called by. And then we're just going to see on a new chain, Fenrir activate, banishing Torn Scale. It's just going to slowly start picking off some of the monsters on field, the more effects that he decides to activate over the course of the next couple turns. Battle phase attack into the Rover. Rover effect. And then Rover effect on summon, rolling a 6 there. Able to go ahead and pop 2. And then he's able to trigger the graveyard effect of Havness since it was cleared. Putting back itself and Shyren. Probably going to go for just a Garura. Just a free body at this point, I guess. Nothing crazy, but you'll take it. We'll see him turn the Boots of Defense. Pass turn there. And not sure what that was. We're just going to see him go into the battle phase, attack into the Boots, and pass. And then we're going to see him activate Boots, realizing there's no targets. Normal summon Rhinoheart. And activate Rhinoheart effect, sending Havness. I don't know if he has anything to resolve this with, though. He definitely should have put back that that Kaleido Heart off of the Curious Man. I'm telling you, that would have been clutch. Could have gone for a Kaleido Heart right now. Got rid of the Fenrir for free. But now we're just going to see... we're just Fenrir beatdown at this point. As the game slowly but surely... And I mean slowly, swings back into the favor of our Runick player here. After our PK player has been, pushing non-stop turn after turn. Battle phase attack over the Torn Scales. Set 1 pass, drop a turn. Draws into Griffin Rider. Griffin Rider effect. New chain, banish it. Free. Set a monster, which we know is the Droll. Pass turn. Hand is absolutely stacked right now for our Runick player. Fenrir attack into the set Droll. Pass. Draw, set Havness. Pass. Battle phase, Fenrir attack over the Havness, set 2, pass, draw into Merly, set it, pass. Battle phase, Fenrir swing over, draw, pass. Well, draw into Nessie, activate Nessie. It gets discarded. Oh, wait, no targets left in deck. There's only like 4 cards left in deck. Pass, draw for turn. Attack for 24, set another card, pass. Activate Foolish, sure. Foolish is fine, dump Shyren, but that's not going to resolve here. And Fenrir swinging for that final 24. Oh my goodness, that match certainly went the distance. We'll see Runick take it 2-0. Last but not least, a huge shout out goes to our Divine Level channel members who are our Pony Start, Cadillacs84, Justino, and HH Cyber. Thank you guys so much as always for your continued very kind and generous support of this channel.